Hey legends, this is Magnus. Just continuing my adventure with Disney Speedstorm and the tournament. So because my anger is only at 27, I want to wait until he's at 30 to get there. But I also have enough tickets right now to do the novice and the pro or, or advanced cup. So I'm gonna do these as quick as possible. One thing I didn't think of in my last video when talking about in one of my previous videos, because by now it's a few have come out since then, is how at the time I'm recording this, it's June 19th, and I'll be going to see Elio tomorrow, and I'm shocked that they didn't choose to do an Elio season, because they lined up their Inside Out season with they lined it up closely with Inside Out 2's release. Sure, it takes a long time to set up a season, but I at least think an Elio's season would have at least been nice. It would have been cool. Especially seeing as how the next season coming up is, which we're probably in by now, is the Toy Story season. Like Toy Story, and instead being Elio would have been cool. Okay, so other than that, I wanted to speak on. Okay, I wanted to speak about something with Star Wars. So in regards to Andor, and for like I probably said previously, I love Andor. I think it's a amazing series. He's in my eyes the best piece of Star Wars media ever made. Like the most well-crafted and well-rounded piece of Star Wars media ever made. And while Clone Wars is my personal favorite, Andor does top it in quality. Now, because of that, the set expectations for future Star Wars projects, I feel justifiably but also unjustifiably, is going to go up, because one thing I've commonly heard is that there are people who never were interested in Star Wars previously, or checked out of it a long time ago, are coming back because of Andor. And to me, that's awesome, but also worrisome, because you're coming in at a high point in Star Wars quality. You're coming out such a high point that is not the norm. Like this project, how it's crafted, how it's made, how it's handled, it's something that isn't the norm in this franchise. And for some fellow fans now to want this to be the norm is a bit dangerous, because the reason I say it's dangerous is because if we start putting Andor level expectations on future Star Wars projects, you're almost looking to be disappointed, I would say, because it's much like how when Rebels came out, as Rebels was releasing after Clone Wars, like I think Rebels started airing, it was after Clone Wars got canceled, and Disney bought Lucasfilm, like at the start, people were comparing it to Clone Wars every chance they got. And I will admit, when it came out, I was around maybe 12, 13, or 14. I went into it thinking about, like, this isn't Clone Wars, like, the animation style isn't the same and stuff like that, but I had to tell myself, like, stop. This isn't Clone Wars. It's not trying to be Clone Wars. Whereas don't hold it to that high of an expectation. And when I stopped that and saw Rebels for what it was, I started seeing its own gems, like how with Rebels, in some areas it's better than Clone Wars because it focuses just on the Rebel crew, because it follows a specific cast of characters, whereas Clone Wars it hopped around, and there are ups and downs to each style. And with Rebels, everybody knows that's more linear. It follows a more linear storyline, whereas with Clone Wars, there's the whole existence of watching it in chronological order is such a thing, because with Clone Wars, it jumps around in the Clone Wars timeline. It jumps around those 3-4 years. So in connection with Andor and stuff, if we're about to, because it happened with Andor season 1, followed up with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Mandalorian season 3, where now because we got to see with season 1 how well crafted and great Star Wars could be in certain creators' hands, going to what we usually get put a sour taste in some people's mouths at the very worst. Well, okay, the worst was to hate what we usually get, and at the least they notice the difference. And I would say I'm at the least extreme, because I see the difference. I still enjoy each show and can say something good about it to anyone, but I see the difference. So now I've heard how Disney is stepping away from Star Wars being on streaming, so we're not getting pretty much anything else like Andor or the live action shows except for Ahsoka season 2, leading, I think it's either leading into or is after Mandalorian Grogu movie. So because of that, we'll now be going back to what Star Wars used to be in theaters. Now, in my opinion, for better or for worse, either way, I think the hiatus from theaters helped Star Wars in my eyes. It helped it because taking that hiatus after Rise of Skywalker kind of made fans miss when Star Wars was, as they call it, an event franchise. And it's an example of almost like what Marvel didn't do after Endgame, or in my mind, Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home, where after this big event in the franchise, you left the theater and tried something different, like having your presence be miss in a certain area. So having Star Wars go back to theaters, I think would be great. And with the announcement of these movies that I am begging that get finished and put out, like Star Wars Starfighter. It's nice to see these more niche ideas per se. But I'm certain they'll probably link more to an overarching story. Then there's the Rey Skywalker movie, or Rey's Jedi Order. I look forward to that. Dawn of the Jedi. Really looking forward to that one. Then there's, I think those are it. Other than the Mandalorian Grogu movie, which is next year. So,
all right, just remember 10 and 2.
So, okay, what else? I still, now they're stepping away from live action Star Wars and streaming, which I think is a benefit, because that it can now, once again, with the animation TV shows, like I would say for between Revenge of the Sith and The Force Awakens, I at least feel that Star Wars animation carried Star Wars during that time period. Like, it carried it on its shoulders in my eyes, because apart from the movies, like Clone Wars is what made me love Star Wars. Kept the movies, of course, got me in love with the world, but the shows, something in between, kept it alive. So, and then, okay, I don't know how many people feel this way, but I at least have seen like YouTube thumbnails where I guess the idea of the video is saying that Star Wars animation after Bad Batch doesn't have direction, and it's like bruh, and I think this was shortly after Bad Batch season 3 was finished streaming. I'm like bruh, like whoever, it's like you're telling me we can't just do like Tales of the Underworld, Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Jedi, or Star Wars Visions, like something to keep animation out there, like to just keep it going, like sure, having a direction like Clone Wars did within this time span of the Clone Wars, or having Rebels in the time span before A New Hope. Oh yeah, there are benefits to having a show with the specific set rules, expectations, but that also means you're limited by what you can do. Prime example being with Clone Wars, how because Revenge of the Sith said that movie has to be Anakin Skywalker and General Grievous' first meeting. They can't meet each other during the Clone Wars, and so the Clone Wars show was working around this but also advertised, like, of course it's probably just one image, but there's this one image of Anakin fighting Grievous in this duel, and it's like, I wish we could see this fight, but we can't. So why are y'all putting it out there? Why are y'all advertising it like that? But just because like Andor is over, I don't think I can agree that Star Wars isn't the same anymore. It's not the same anymore. Because season 2, as I stated in my short, has changed my view of the Empire. Despite watching despite watching Bad Batch with child abduction and child experimentation somehow, and I almost chalk that up to how it's presented and stuff. But because of how Andor presented the Empire's actions and the people within it and all of that, it made me see the Empire in a new way that I don't want to forget. Because I watched Andor season 1 as it aired, and I saw the slaughter on Ferrix. I watched it, but the Gorman massacre somehow affected me in a different way. Like it left something in my mind that I don't want to forget. And but despite that, I can understand that not everything Star Wars is gonna make that, like everything Star Wars makes is that gonna be that level of quality, and I'm not going in expecting that. I'm just going in to expect, at least look for a good time, look for a good story, or just to be entertained and stuff. So when Andor did this bigger thing, it impressed me. Knocked my socks off. Not just knocked my socks off, knocked my clothes off. Knocked my clothes off completely. Oh. So I look forward to Ahsoka season 2. And I liked the first season. I thought the first season was great. And then we have future animated like stuff coming up, like Maul Shadow Lord. I really look forward to that project. So it's like people's like anyone's feeling like Star Wars animation doesn't have direction. It's like there are times where we can just have an animated project that just to keep it going, so that it's not dead. In my eyes, at least. Let me claim some of these rewards. And having the Tales of blah 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 be a yearly thing on Star Wars Day, awesome choice, awesome, something to look forward to every year. I have this. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. I have that?
Hey, this isn't so bad. So does this come with a parachute? Thank you. This is fireproof, right?
I did not know that. So anyway. Oh yeah. So anyway. I understand that Star Wars is not going to be the same after what we've just gotten with Andor. And I am happy with that, but I also see the potential dangers in it because of how our fandom can be at times. And honestly, I need to see if I can, because if I'm able to, I want to talk about why, in many ways, in my opinion, Star Wars, or to be more specific, the Star Wars online fandom is the most toxic fandom to me in existence, far and above anyone else. So that'll be for another video. But the future of Star Wars, there is a future in it. Like everybody, oh my goodness, the people saying Star Wars is dead and all that. It's like maybe it's dead to you, but it's not dead to every. It's not dead to everyone. Not like something that is dead. The DCEU again. I keep going to that as an example. The DCEU and Sony's Venomverse. Okay, those are actual universes that died. Died. Okay, like there's a difference. So anyway, thank y'all for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts down in the comments down below. Comment, like, subscribe, share the video. Hope you enjoyed it. React to my madness. I'll see you in the next one. See you later.